what's going on, everybody? I am Nick Push. Thanks for joining me tonight. Guys, I was going to make another video on some news we got, yesterday and earlier this week, but I figured, what the fuck? Let's just go live and kind of discuss it there. Let's change it up a little bit. So, didn't really promote this at all. Not expecting a shit ton of people to join live, mainly because the NFL draft is on. But I thought it might be fun to kind of sit down and discuss what we heard people saw at Cinemacon yesterday. So I'm going to let people funnel in a little bit, and then I'm going to talk about some of the footage that was seen and just kind of go over my thoughts on that. Do me a favor, though. Comment down below what you thought of what we heard about what happened at Cinemacon. It wasn't much, but it was interesting nonetheless. And I haven't really, dove into the YouTube world too much since then to hear what people are saying. I've seen people talking about it on Twitter and whatnot. But other than that, I'm not really sure if people are super pumped about it or people super pissed about it. I don't know. So I'm just going to give you guys my thoughts on it. And we'll kind of go from there. So like I said, put your comments down in the comment section if you're watching after the fact. Otherwise, I'll be answering questions in the chat and stuff like that. So let's get right into it. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to read something that basically describes it. So give me 1 second to pop it up here. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. All right, so I am going to read an article from MovieWeb. Is it MovieWeb? Yeah, movieweb.com that basically discusses this. So we have the title here. It says, Halloween ends. Cinemacon footage pits Laurie against Michael Myers one last time. Yeah, heard that before, haven't we? But anyway, it says, it's Laurie versus Michael Myers in footage from Halloween Ends, shown exclusively at Cinemacon 2022. For those of you that might not know, I don't know if it's going to describe it in this article because I just kind of skimmed it real quick, but Cinemacon is essentially a convention, I believe, for all the studios in Hollywood where they show kind of what they got planned throughout the year. So a lot of times you'll see trailers and footage, but it's not stuff that is genuinely leaked. So I have not seen anything. I don't know if it was leaked yesterday. I think if it was, I would know about it and we would know about it. But for now, I'm just going to read what the description says here. So let's get into it a little bit. It says, the first footage from the upcoming horror sequel and the conclusion to the Halloween franchise, Halloween Ends, was shown at CinemaCon 2022 and pits Laurie Strode against Michael Myers. The description of footage comes courtesy of comicbook.com's Cam Bonalomo, who was present at the event, and it should have audiences excited to see the two horror icons come to blows one final time. 44 years ago, the face of fear was born, the CinemaCon exclusive trailer begins. What follows is snippets of footage from previous Halloween outings, including classic footage from John Carpenter's Halloween and a murder montage that shows the victims of Michael Myers on Halloween night 78 and 2018. Then we continue. Every scream, every scare, every slash has led to this, the trailer continues. Some new material then begins, showing Laurie Strode breathing heavily as she hides in a dark closet, while Michael Myers stalks a kitchen with a knife. The clip then ignites into action as Laurie lunges at Michael and slashes at him in what is described as a brutal, with brutal capitalized, fight. Interesting. Seems like stuff we have already seen before, but we'll get into that. Michael Myers then grabs Laurie's hair and slams her face first into a glass cabinet. Laurie grips her knife and stabs it into Michael's hand. The trailer, in quotes, ends with Michael on the table. Laurie stands over her prey with a butcher knife. Laurie stands over her prey. Okay, we'll get into that. Halloween ends. Following the final moments of Halloween Kills brutality, it is likely the main thing on Laurie's mind and could make Halloween Ends the most personal installment in the series. Okay. Oh, here we go. Jamie Lee Curtis believes Halloween Ends is gonna, and I quote, fuck you up. I like that. I like that quote. Returning star Jamie Lee Curtis, who first played the role of Laurie Strode way back in 1978's Halloween, was on hand at the event to discuss the direction of Halloween Ends and what audiences can expect from Laurie and Michael's final showdown. Curtis called playing the character the ride of my life, adding, I had no idea when I was cowering in the closet 45 years ago that this character would become the most important relationship of my entire career and professional life. And I'm grateful because Laurie Strode is the OG final girl. She's the one that the term apparently was created for, the one that won't be stopped, won't be killed, will face the monsters when others run, and over the years has taken on obviously new dimensions. The actress then pondered the wider horror genre, saying, it lets us confront something we can't control. It allows us to scream and fight, and sometimes we're in a world that doesn't allow the cathartic opportunities, and horror films are fun to see in a big crowd because horror matters. But sadly, all things must come to an end. With regard to her time in the franchise coming to an end, Curtis teased the shock and horror in store. Mama's tired, Curtis finished with a laugh. This Halloween, we'll experience Laurie's last stand. It's gonna fuck you up. Directed by David Gordon Green and written by Green, Danny McBride, Paul Brad Logan, and Chris Bernier, Halloween Ends is scheduled to be released on October 14th, 2022 by Universal Pictures. Okay, lots to unpack there, guys. So I'm going to kind of just go through this beat by beat and give you my thoughts. So I already kind of gave you guys my sarcastic comment about One Last Time. You know, we heard that 24 years ago. Is it 24 years ago? In 98? Yep. We heard it. We heard it then. We've heard it again. Will this be Laurie's final battle with Michael? I doubt it, but I think it will be Jamie Lee Curtis's final battle with Michael as Laurie. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, you know, there's lots of options for this, including, you know, ending it, including reboot. You know, we've covered all that. But let's go into, you know, in some of the things that was said here. So here's the thing. I wouldn't consider what this is describing as a trailer. I would more think it's kind of a teaser. You know, they're calling it a trailer here. Trailers nowadays, you know, most trailers nowadays are like almost 2 minutes long. It doesn't sound like this is 2 minutes long. But what I like is, you know, that it started showing clips of 78. You know, I hope we get to see this soon here because I love the fact that they're weaving in 78 with 28, with the events of 2018 and kills and stuff like that. So I like that. Then we have every scream, every scare, every slash has led to this. Okay, I like that again. And then we get to the new material. So a couple of things here. Number one, if they are showing Laurie and Michael in this trailer and they are showing Michael head on in a battle with Laurie, well, I am guessing that this takes place the night of Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills because it's just a theory, but I think that they're going to want to save the look for Myers for, you know, a final trailer or, you know, just later on. I don't think they're going to want to reveal if his mask is differently because I think they're going to want to do that in kind of a grander fashion than this. So let's think about that. Let's just spitball. Let's say I'm right. Let's say this takes place in 2018. Okay. If this battle, in quotes, takes place in 2018 with Laurie and Michael, okay? We're going to assume what? That after Karen is killed, Laurie is in the hospital, and we know the film ends with, I think it ends with her, walking out of the hospital, or there's that clip with her walking out of the hospital. It might not even have been in the film where she says, I'm coming for you, Michael, right? Okay. So then we're guessing what? She sees Michael, or somehow she gets to the Myers house and Michael is there, right? And there's a battle, right? So it said she was hiding in a closet. It said there was this big battle. Thanks, Shane. Shane said it's in the extended cut. Thank you, Shane. But it's, you know, there's a battle, right? I have many fucking issues if this battle takes place in that same night. Starting with this. Laurie's fucking been wounded in the hospital the rest of the night. The whole event's a kill. She's in the hospital. She tried to get up and she couldn't, except for when she was kneeing a doctor for some odd reason. So now you're going to tell me, and I'm not trying to be negative here, guys. I'm not. I'm just talking. But you're going to tell me that Laurie later in that night goes over to the Myers house, finds Myers, right? She finds Karen's body, probably finds Myers, and there's this big battle. And Myers doesn't fucking kill her. Not only is she 60 some years old, I guess technically in this time frame she's 57. My mistake. If it's 2018, right? Because she was 17 in 78. This is technically 40 years later. But stay with me here. She is wounded. She goes and she starts getting this battle with Myers, and he doesn't kill her. Assuming he doesn't kill her. Maybe he does. Okay. But my issue is this. It's not just her age. Okay. It is the fact that she is wounded. And I know what people are going to say. Myers is wounded too, right? Myers took all this beating, right? And he did. He 100% did. But one thing we're forgetting is he easily took out this fucking mob of people. Easily. He is laying on the ground. Karen shooting him at point blank range. Everyone's stabbing him. You got chick with the iron standing there, and he just dispatches them easily. Tommy's hitting him with a baseball bat. He kills all those people at once in a brutal montage, right? And then you're telling me he goes over to Myers' house, gets upstairs somehow, kills Karen, and then 57-year-old at the time, Laurie comes, wounded from her battle earlier that night with Myers, and they have a big brouhaha in the kitchen. That at one point, Laurie is quote unquote standing over her prey. I think it says with a knife, right? Laurie grips her knife and stabs it in Michael's hand, okay? And then she stands over her prey with a butcher knife, okay? First of all, a couple of things here, guys. I understand that this trilogy has kind of become the badass Laurie Strode thing. I get all that. But standing over her prey, Michael is the one that should be standing over his prey. Michael is the boogeyman, okay? By having him battle Laurie one-on-one and having Laurie get all these licks at him, stabbing him in the hand, her standing over her prey. Her prey. You're just brutally minimizing Myers, You can't have him destroy this mob of people, including badass Tommy Doyle, Evil Dies Tonight, with a baseball bat, and then have Laurie kicking his ass. If that's what happened. Like I said, guys, this is all speculation based on what we are being told. Okay? Based on what we are being told. So if they have this battle and somehow Laurie gets away or whatever, I would have an issue with that. So what's the other option here? Okay? If this is 2018, like I'm speculating, or if this is the night of 2018, like I'm speculating, the other option is this. Michael kills Laurie at the beginning of the movie. I don't think that's going to happen. If it did, it would fundamentally change the movie. I just don't see it happening. I think Laurie would go. She's got to go out at the end of the movie. I wouldn't mind her getting killed off in the middle, because if you can't tell by my tone right now, I have a little Laurie Strode fatigue. Can't talk. Sorry, guys. And I would love to see, Allison and Lindsay battle Michael for most of the movie. I think that would be kind of cool. Michael stalking them and all kinds of things. But Michael versus Laurie in a big battle in the kitchen, I think if that happens on the night of 2018, I don't think it's realistic, and I think you run the risk of taking the mystique away from Myers. Now, now, I will say all my issues with this trilogy, and I have numerous ones of them, and I have a lot of things I love about it. But of all the issues I have with this trilogy, what they've done so far with Myers, for the most part, I have enjoyed. I think they have um, done great, especially in Halloween Kills. With the lighting, they've obviously nailed the mask. Should there be more stalking and shit? Yes, I get it. It's not going to be like '78. It's a different world right now. Um, and as Randy says in Scream 2, your core audience expects it. Talking about more blood and guts. I get all that, guys. But Michael versus Laurie in a WWE battle takes away his mystique. Okay, so I personally, if this takes place in 2018, I would like to see Michael kill Laurie early on. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think it would change the movie for the better. So, like I said, guys, maybe I'm wrong on how I'm interpreting this being Halloween 2018 night. Maybe this is different. I just think if they're going to show Michael's look, they're not going to do it like this in a little teaser where it's a little battle, especially if they're going to change the way his mask looks. Which if it's 4 years later, we talk about the time jump all the time. If it's 4 years later, his mask is probably going to look differently. I've said in past videos that I would be cool if it was kind of stitched together, kind of like Leatherface. So you got the burnt side of it. You got blood stains on it, and then it's been 4 years. He's kind of had to stitch it together. I think that would be pretty cool. And just to give credit where credit is due, I believe I was told that first came from Phantom Empire. So Sean, if you're watching this, not stealing your idea, buddy. But yeah, check out Phantom Empire, guys. They got a lot of good content. But I don't think they're gonna blow their load, so to speak, showing what Myers looks like in Halloween Ends so early on. So I think this has to be 2018. I think it would make sense too, because as we know, they said a while back that this was supposed to be on the same night Halloween Ends, and then they changed their tune and they decided to do a time jump for some reason, which I'm sure we will find out at some point why. I hope it's a good reason. But for me, this teaser description, like I said, I have my issues with it, mainly because of the believability and what it would do to the character of Michael. It would kind of neuter his scariness to me. But it's basically what I expected, especially with Jamie Lee Curtis coming out to present it. They're not going to have Jamie Lee Curtis come out to present this to studios and not have some big bloody battle with her, because she's been very outspoken on what she wants this trilogy to represent. And I got no issues with representing how trauma plays a part in the character of Laurie Strode or anything like that. So for me, guys, though, I'm not surprised, but I'm a little bummed that we're going to get some huge battle like this unless they kill off Laurie right away. And I know, guys, I made a tweet today and I got railed on because it was negative about Laurie Strode. Like I said, I have fatigue for Laurie Strode. We've seen it so many damn times at this point. We've seen it in Halloween 78. I know they don't count in this timeline, but we saw it in Halloween 2. Essentially, she was in a hospital bed. We saw it in Halloween H2O. We saw it briefly in Resurrection. We saw it in 2018. We saw it in Halloween Kills, even though she was in the hospital bed. At this point, like Laurie says, all good things come to an end. I'm ready for her character to be done. Okay. And it doesn't mean I want her to die. Spoiler alert, I do. But if they do her character justice, I'm cool with that. You can't disrespect the character of Laurie Strode. Okay. And to some, you might think I am disrespecting her by, having these thoughts that I want her to die, etc. That she's, 60 years old. Myers is older than her. I'm not trying to disrespect the character of Laurie Strode. I am not trying to disrespect Jamie Lee Curtis. I love Jamie Lee Curtis. She's in a lot of great movies. She's done great things for this franchise. One thing I will give her massive credit for is she has really promoted the hell out of these movies, especially this last trilogy. I like that she is excited about promoting these movies. I think it's pretty cool that a big Hollywood actress, went back to her roots with the horror franchise. You don't see that all the time, right? So I respect what she is doing, but for me, I just like Myers going after anyone. There's no point in getting rid of the brother sister angle if you're going to just have Michael versus Laurie again. I said that before 2018 came out. I said it after 2018. I will continue to say that. Let's tell some other stories. So whether it's a reboot 10 years from now or anything, um, let's tell some other stories, because even if they kill Michael Myers in Halloween Ends, which I think it's a 50-50 shot, even if they do that, the character of Michael will not die, because he equals money for these studios, guys. Because there's people like us who can't get enough of it. So I'm going to get to the comments in the chat in a minute, but I just kind of wanted to give my quick thoughts on that. So tell me in the comments, guys, what do you think of what you heard? Like I said, I've been a little negative on it. It does sound like a badass scene. So I'm judging the hell out of it, but I want to reserve complete judgment until I see it, because as you guys may know, when some stuff leaked about the flashback before it kills, I went ape shit, and I am the first to admit I was wrong. I loved the fucking flashback it kills. Absolutely loved it. Favorite part of the movie by far. So tell me what you guys think. Are you excited to see this battle? What do you want to see in Halloween Kills? I'm going to go to the chat right now in a second here. We got Jake Blaster Productions giving me crap because I like Jaws 3 better than Jaws 4. Jake Blaster Productions. Speaking of Jake Blaster Productions, so I'm going to give him a little plug here, because myself and some of the guys from Halloweenverse and some other people have been included on his channel. We're doing a Road to Halloween Ends trivia. So you guys might have seen me promote this yesterday. We started yesterday with Halloween 78. It's basically a live stream where we are doing a trivia contest there's prizes, and it's just kind of us shooting the shit, talking about each movie in the franchise. So check out Jake Blaster Productions. Most of them are going to be on his channel. We might have some on Halloweenverse. I know he's got some other guests lined up, like some of our buddies from the ATGNAT podcast, who have just kind of restarted their YouTube channel. So go check them out. Go check out the Halloweenverse guys. A lot of good ends content from a lot of channels that you may not have heard of. So I encourage you to go check them out. There's a lot of ends content, like I said, out there in YouTube. So I appreciate you guys checking out my content. Like you guys, as I sit here and bitch about what I heard yesterday, like you guys, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the franchise. I'm here because I like talking about this shit, whether it's positive or negative. I like talking about it. The negative shit I say about, whether it's that footage we heard yesterday, or whether it is Halloween 5 or Halloween H2O, I go on these bitch fests sometimes about some of the things I see in these movies. And, some people think I might just be being a hater or whatnot. It's because I am a fan of this franchise, guys. And I am basically trying to demand quality. Okay. We as a franchise have not always gotten that, as you know. That's why there is so many goddamn timelines in this, right? In this franchise, because, oh, shit sequel, let's reboot it. Oh, shit sequel, let's reboot it. It's fucking embarrassing, to be honest. But even the shit sequels, I like watching. I like watching Halloween 5. It's terrible. It's fucking terrible. But I can pick out qualities I like, whether it's, Loomis saying, I prayed he'd burn in hell, but I knew hell would not have him. Whether it is the clown cops, just kidding. But there's things in each movie that I enjoy. So when I'm bitching about things, guys, that's because I'm a fan, and I'm demanding quality. So I just wanted to say that, guys, I am a fan of this franchise. If you haven't noticed, I know you guys are too. So I love talking. I love talking about it, and I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. So I appreciate you guys staying with my ends content, because I know there's a lot of YouTubers out there. Um, Tons of people I've heard of, tons of people I've met, tons of channels I've never even heard of. So I appreciate you guys checking me out. So let's check you guys out. Let's see what's going on in the comments here. ATGNAT podcast says the footage from Cinemacon is the opening scene, Nick. Yep, I agree with you, Ronnie. I think it probably is. That would make the most sense, like I said. Adam Howard, what's up, man? Byron Weaver, what's going on, buddy? Shane Emerson says this could be like Reservoir Dogs when all is said and done. All right, now I'm going to lose all my subs. I've never seen Reservoir Dogs, guys. I know it's crazy. I have never seen it. To be honest, I'm not the biggest Tarantino fan. I appreciate what he does, and I appreciate some of his movies, but his style just isn't for me. But I know he's got tons of fans, obviously. So let's see what else is going on. Daniel Highland. Hey, Daniel says, I think it's all a simulation. I think it's all a simulation and all the Halloween movies, Michael and Laurie. So you think it's a simulation? That'd be interesting. Could you imagine? All of a sudden, Laurie wakes up and she pulls something out of her mouth and looks around, and it's just like the Matrix when Neo wakes up in the Matrix. That'd be interesting. And then, like Kyle Cochran's in charge of it or something like that. All right. Shane Emerson says, longest night ever. Yeah. If this footage that they described from what they were describing with Laurie and Michael fight, if it takes place on the night of Halloween 2018, it would be the longest night ever. I think technically, if Halloween 2 was canon, Halloween 1 and 2 would probably take the cake there, because Halloween 2 essentially ends when the sun is coming up. But I think more almost happens. But if you combine 2018 and Kills, I think almost more might happen. It's close. It's close. And obviously it was going to be a lot longer because of Halloween Ends was supposed to take place on the same night as well. Drake Playas 0305 says Michael is just like, damn woman, I'm tired. Oh yeah, because he's laying on the table and Laurie's got a knife over him. Yeah, right. Speaking of days, Michael had a hell of a day. He started the day as a free man essentially, and then starts having some chaos. He finally makes it home, and then sees Big John and Little John at his house, and he's got to keep taking care of business. Daniel Highland says Allison is the new Jamie in Halloween Ends. Yeah, that's interesting. So let's talk about Allison for a second. I am actually a fan of what Andy Medichek has done with his character. I think she was extremely underutilized in Halloween 2018, and I know there's many reasons for that. It had to be Laurie's movie, especially with her, back after 40 years in this timeline. I have to keep saying it, in this timeline. But Allison, I really liked what they did with her in Halloween Kills. Her mom wanted her to stay at the hospital, right? She saw, a group of citizens banding together to take on Myers. She lost her dad an hour or two earlier, right? So she decided, instead of staying with her mom and grandma, she was gonna join with Cameron and Tommy and Lonnie and all them. She was gonna join them to hunt this bastard down, and I really liked that. And then the scene at the end, when she sees Michael comes out and knocks her down the stairs, and she sees Cameron brutally fucking murdered. That was brutal. And Michael's walking down the stairs, and she hurt her leg, and right before Karen comes out of nowhere with the pitchfork, Michael's got the knife on her. She was brave. She even says, "Do it." So I like what they did with Allison, and I think her role in Ends is going to be interesting. Personally, I think she's going to be a much more jaded and angry character, because Michael has killed both her parents now. She lived through that. In many ways, she went through a more horrific experience than what Laurie did in 78. Um, Not exactly the same because Laurie was alone a lot of that night. Laurie's final chase scene actually was a fucking chase scene instead of just being cut off right away. But Allison, I liked her character. I'm excited to see what they do with her in Ends. Ronnie says, Nick, you trying to grow a goatee? No, I just haven't shaved in a couple days. I go through spurts where, I like a clean face, and sometimes I want to just have that bender look. Like I've been drinking for 3 days. I love that look. It's like I don't really give a fuck. So a lot of times I'll go days without shaving. Just for the bender look. It's my thing. Let's see what's going on here. Scott Stevens says, I hope there's a good chase scene in Halloween Ends. Me too, Scott. Me too. You bring up a good point here. So I know one of the complaints in Halloween 2018 was we didn't really get a chase scene. We had the beginning of one with Allison, like I just mentioned. They play the great track, the shape, is it the shape stalks Allison or hunts Allison? I think it is. Great fucking track. One of my favorite tracks that they've ever done in this franchise. And that's saying something because I'm a huge fan of the Halloween 2 soundtrack. Like that's actually my favorite. I even like it better than the OG, mostly because I just like the synth and I think it's fun to listen to. But the track "The Shape Hunts Allison" is one of my favorites. But obviously that chase scene, got cut off. Allison sees what's his face on the what the hell's that guy's name? I can't think of his name. Her friend, the friend that was hitting on her, the chubby guy. She sees him impaled, right? And then the shape kind of is in the background, and then she starts running, and then she's saved right away, until they run him over with the car. But that was a good opportunity to have him chasing her, maybe through an alley or something like that. So we didn't really get one in Halloween 2018. Halloween Ends. I think probably the best chase scene is the one with Lindsay Wallace, right? Which was a great fucking scene. I loved that they didn't have any music for a lot of that scene, especially at the end. So you could hear Myers breathing, and you could see his reflection on the water. I loved that scene. But once again, I don't know how much of a chase scene it really was because Lindsay basically hid in one spot. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think she just hid behind that tree, or maybe she hid behind a couple trees and stuff like that. But it wasn't her hiding somewhere, Myers finding her, and then her running again. One of my favorite chase scenes of all time. I think the most underrated chase scene of all time. Well, there's a few of them, but I guess what I'm trying to say is the chase scenes that I love are when a girl goes from many different places and the killer keeps coming after her. Three that come off the top of my head are one, Sarah Michelle Gellar's chase scene in I Know What You Did That Summer. Two is Chris's chase scene in Friday the 13th Part 3. That's probably my favorite. And then the most underrated one, in my opinion, is Tara Reid's chase scene in Urban Legend. I think all three of those chase scenes are fantastic. And I love Laurie's in the OG Halloween 2. I don't mean like that. And she had two decent ones in Halloween 2. But I would love, an extended chase scene like those, where if it's Allison or Lindsay or whoever, it goes from place to place to place, maybe a house, maybe upstairs in a house, maybe, in an alley, something like that, where it's just extended and it just builds the tension. So I'm with you, Scott. Jay Gregory says, new sub. I like your content. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you very much, Jay Gregory. I appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. Daniel Highland says, Laurie's standing over Michael, then Allison comes in, distracts Laurie, then Michael wakes up and stabs Laurie in the throat and she bleeds out and dies. Ooh, that could be interesting. I don't know if they do it, but it'd be interesting for what it would do to Allison, because like I said already, Allison lost both of her parents that night, right? But she didn't witness either of those. It's still horrible to lose both your parents and know that they were brutally murdered, but to witness something like that could be a little bit different. Byron Weaver says, where are you? Sorry. Byron Weaver says, Nick Push, what do you think the mask will look like? I don't know. I like I said, I mentioned it earlier, and you might have commented this prior to me mentioning it earlier. But I'm rooting for what Sean for Band of Empire teased, and that was, um, the same mask. It's burnt still. It's got blood stains on it from Karen, and it's kind of stitched together like Leatherface. I would really like that. Oscar, thank you guys. Oscar is that guy's name. Thank you. Byron, Andrew, and Shane all came with that. Let's see here. Ronnie says, I wonder what they changed story wise. Originally, the trilogy took place on one night. Then they decided to time jump. So, what did they have planned originally? That I guess that is the question, right? That is the question. Um, we know. I don't think they would have changed too much, right? They couldn't. We know that they did it because they had extra time because of the pandemic, right? So we knew that at the time Halloween Kills had already been filmed, right? So Halloween Kills ending would essentially be the same or similar. I know there's the extended cut where Laurie is on the phone and here's Michael breathing, right, as an homage to '78. So it would have ended right there and it would have continued on the same night, right? So what would it originally be? I don't know. And what would they have changed and why? I guess is the question. There's obviously all kinds of speculation about Jamie Lee Curtis and others wanting to have this in a post-COVID world. What that has to do with Halloween, God, I don't know. I don't personally want to see COVID. If it's mentioned, I don't care, guys. I know people are going to be up in arms if it's mentioned. Yeah, if it's mentioned in passing, it's fine. If everyone's wearing a mask, I got issues with that just because I come here to escape that shit. We've dealt with enough the last couple of years regarding COVID, and other people have dealt with worse than me. Losing people. So I'm certainly not minimizing that by any stretch of the imagination. But it's all the more reason to not include it. But yeah, I don't know what they could have included. It's interesting. Drake Playa says 0305 says something that would be absolutely terrifying yet absolutely hilarious at the same time. Michael just all out sprinting during a chase scene. Obviously, I don't want that to happen, but that would be pretty funny. Like for instance in Halloween Kills, Karen says, "You want your mask? Come and get it." And instead of Michael slowly walking, he just sprints at her and kills her, puts on the mask. That would be funny. It's interesting because going back to Friday the 13th Part 3, people forget Jason ran in that final scene. He ran after Chris. After she got out of the house and she went to the car, he ran after her. You see him running after her right on camera. You see him in the background running after her. He was running. Same with Friday the 13th Part 2. He was running. You forget that because he just became so immortalized as zombie Jason, who just walks. But Michael obviously is a different beast. Michael has never ran. The closest he has come to running would be kind of doing like a little bit of a crow hop leap onto a car, which he did in Halloween '78 when he escaped Smith's Grove. And obviously they did an homage to that in Halloween Kills, which I thought was pretty well done. So yeah, I agree it would be funny, but I don't really want to see that. Sultan says, you think Laurie or Allison will die? Good question. I think Laurie will die. I think she will die. As much as I was giving her character a hard time, saying I'm Laurie'd out. I hope she dies in a respectful manner. I hope she dies saving Allison's life, or saving Allison and Lindsay's life, or Hawkins' life, or whoever. And I think she will. I think she'll either die saving their life or die, with Myers at the same time, whether it's being set on fire together or falling off the radio tower together or whatever. I think she'll die. Allison, I don't think she'll die. I don't know if she'll be the one to kill Myers. If Myers dies, but I think Allison survives because I think Laurie's death has to mean something. I think Laurie dying to save Allison or to kill Myers so Allison can live. Basically, I think it's gonna be this. So Laurie essentially realized in Halloween Kills that it wasn't about her, right? That her whole life, those 40 years from 78 to 2018, she was obsessed. Myers was coming for her. Well, she found out in the hospital room that she was wrong. Hawkins told her it was never about you, remember? So she wasted all those years. Yes, there still would have been trauma. Yes, she would have been, waking up in the middle of the night, terrified. Yes, she probably still would have had a drinking problem and went through all these husbands. But she essentially wasted her life in preparation for someone that she thought was coming for her. So I think what her death is going to mean, I think there's going to be a conversation with her and Allison where she is, basically seeing that Allison may be going down the same path, right? Maybe Allison, maybe not exactly the same, but she'll see that Allison, is maybe obsessed with Myers, something like that. And she's going to, essentially tell Allison, you have to live, basically give her life for Myers so Allison can live. So I don't think Allison's going to die. I think the symbolism of Laurie, wasting her life, but now giving it so Allison cannot waste her life. I think that's too much of an opportunity. And I just think there's too much symbolism there. So yeah, that's kind of what I think. Just another horror fan says they added Lindsay in the script. She wasn't in the original script. Ooh, I didn't know that. Are you talking about Halloween Ends? They added her. She wasn't in Ends. I believe it because I know Jamie Lee Curtis and Kyle Richards are friends. So I like what Kyle Richards did in Halloween Kills. So I'm cool with her being in Halloween Ends. What they do with her will be interesting. She may have like be a motherly type figure to Allison. I think she'll be heavily involved in Laurie and Allison's life. I think that would just make sense, especially after going through everything they went through in Halloween Kills. You're not going to be able to replicate that with somebody that didn't go through that. So I think they're all going to want to keep in touch and shit like that. It might not be going to the bar. Even though we saw the picture of them in the bar that's still shot. It might not be going to the bar every Halloween like she did with Tommy and Marion and Lonnie, but I think she'll be heavily involved in their lives. Andrew says, they say you can't kill the boogeyman, but they're bringing this movie into present day because COVID is the only thing that can. Yeah, Michael dies of COVID. Yeah, that would be a disaster. Okay, Greg Shepard says, actually in 6 he sprinted chasing the Thorn guy. Yeah, it was definitely I don't know if I call it a sprint, but it was definitely a speed walk. You're right. He was pissed in that. Scene with the doctor, if that's what you're talking about. So yeah, that's probably the fastest we've ever seen him move after someone. I agree with you there. Byron Weaver says, if Halloween got an anthology series after Halloween Ends, what network would you want it to be on? What network? I think it would have to go to streaming, right? Or HBO Max or some shit like that. Just because then it's wide open as far as being able to swear and have some brutal kills and shit like that. So I think it would have to go to streaming. If I had to choose a streaming service, it doesn't really matter. Universal owns it, so it could be something, I guess owns it right now. I don't know if their rights end or anything like that. But we know that Halloween Kills, when it came out on Peacock as well as in theaters. So yeah, my guess would be it'd probably be on Peacock. But as far as what I want, as long as it's on streaming, I'm cool with that. So they can, not be constrained by regular TV constraints. Let's see. Ben Trimmer says, Laurie will die a hero, but yeah, she will die. I agree with you. We have a super chat from the Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast. It says, for the channel, Nick, you do a great job. Looking forward to the next ranking video. I really, really appreciate that, guys. I don't know if this is Frank or Darren, but let me take a moment to talk about their channel, guys. it's funny because I actually was just watching. I started watching your guys' ranking of the Donalds the other day. Slaughter the Lamb Movie Podcast is two gentlemen by the name of Frank and Darren. It is, here's why I like their channel. It's unique. So it's not just, there's a million channels like mine, guys, of me just sitting here talking nonsense. There's a goddamn fly in here, a mosquito or something. But there's a million channels like mine. I like them because they have great chemistry. And they talk about a lot of things that not everyone talks about. So I'm trying to think of an example, but right now, what I've seen for them is they're doing kind of the best and worst of all these movies in the franchise, and they got a lot of good debates. Like I said, they got a lot of good chemistry. So if you guys aren't sub to them, go check them out. The Slaughter the Lamb Movie Podcast. They do a fantastic job. It'd be cool to do some collaboration with them at some point, to have them on here and stuff like that. From what I can tell, I have never met either of them. But I got good instincts, and they seem like really great guys. And I know that they have done things with Phantom Empire, who I know, and Dave McCrae as well. So yeah, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. And yes, don't worry, I got more ranking video ideas. You know me, I like to come up with obscure ranking videos and shoot the shit about the nonsense in my head about them. So like I said, I really appreciate that, Frank and Darren. Thank you guys. Let's see what's going on here. Scott Stevens says, I wonder what they will do for Michael Myers for a 50th anniversary in 2028. That's a good point. They're going to do something, whether it's another movie, whether it's a TV series, they will do something. It could just be another huge box set, a 50th anniversary box set with some behind the scenes shit. Things like that. I just think are money makers. So like I said, they'll definitely do something. It is absolutely crazy to me that we're 4.5 years away from the 50th anniversary of Halloween. It feels like, obviously it was just 2018. It was just the 40th. And, I don't know if it's because of COVID happened or what, but holy shit, guys. It's good. We're going to blink and it's going to be the 50th anniversary. As far as what they'll do, like I said, my guess would probably be some box set and, another convention. As far as another movie, it's pushing it, because in order to have another movie released in 2028, they would have to start filming that for all intents and purposes. In probably, I don't know, obviously 2027. I know they can turn these things around so damn quick, especially like Halloween movies. Like, for instance, they, filmed Halloween Ends early this year, and, it just weeks, but pre-production and getting the rights to things and getting the right script, it takes time. So will they be able to turn that around? Yeah, they could. And Blumhouse, obviously, if they still have the rights to this shit, then Blumhouse they're pros at this shit, man. They are just pros. So as I talk this through, we could get another movie, maybe a Halloween 3 reboot, or sequel or something like that. I like Halloween 3 a lot. Obviously, it was underrated for years. For many years, it was underrated, right? For many reasons, but the main reason is because Michael Myers wasn't in it, and Michael Myers became the brand, right? We didn't have the marketing back in the early 80s like we do now, with the internet and 24-hour news cycles and all that shit. So there's so many reasons that Halloween 3 failed. And I was guilty of it myself, guys. I was completely guilty of not even giving this movie a chance. And then I saw it when I was a kid, and no Myers. And then, I watched it as an adult, years back, and I like it, and I still like it to this day. But it became so underrated, and everyone called it underrated, that I think it might have become a little overrated now. I like the story. I think it's batshit crazy. But it's one of those things where something can be underrated for so long that it becomes overrated because everyone talks about how underrated it is. It's probably rated pretty appropriately right now, but I am a fan. I would love to see a present day reboot of this. If I had my choice, I'd probably reboot it. You could do a sequel, but you'd have half the population of children dying 40 years ago or whatever the hell it'd be. 45 years ago, probably, if it was for the 50th anniversary. But Halloween 3 would be an option. I'd be down for a reboot. Especially with the new technology, and you could go different places. So yeah, that'd be my guess. I hate to say it, guys. After it ends, I'm gonna be Myers out for a little bit, um, but it's nice because we can just pop in the good ones, right? So yeah. All right, guys, gonna go for another 10 minutes or so, and then we're gonna call it a night. So let's see what else we got here. The Dude Brothers agrees. He said, "I'd love to see a H3 remake, fix the problems, etc." Yeah. So Halloween 3 does have a great many problems. Like every movie in this franchise, short of the OG and maybe Halloween 2. Obviously, Halloween 2 even has some problems, right? But Halloween 3 has a lot of logic issues and things like that. Yeah, I would reboot it. I would reboot it too, and just making it, just modernizing it. Modernizing that story could be really epic. The Dude Brothers follows with Sam Hain and all other Halloween movies. It's easy to tie it in with fun things. Yeah, that's true. There's just so many different legends with the holiday of Halloween. There's so much you could do. If they went the anthology route, um, there's just so many different little mini Halloween stories you could tell. You could even do an anthology TV series where kind of like American Horror Story, where each season is different, right? So yeah, that's probably that might be the best bet too. Just kind of like a anthology TV series. Byron Weaver says, "I would love to see the unmade Halloween movie Halloween Returns finally get made in 2028 to celebrate the 50th anniversary. I have the script if you want to read it. I'll send it to you, Nick." First of all, Byron, yes, send me that script. I might be bored one day and read it. Actually, it won't be a bad thing to read on an airplane, right? I'm going to be on a flight in a couple weeks. So yeah, Byron, if you could send it to me, I'd really appreciate it, buddy. I have never read the Halloween Return script. Don't really know much about it. I'm not really a guy that has dove too much into the backstories of the unmade sequels. I have Taking Shape 2, which I read a little bit here and there. I was reading at the beach last year, and I was getting some weird looks. Yeah. So I'm down for reading, finding out what some of Halloween Returns would be about. As far as them doing it, as cool as it would sound, probably, I don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. Um, I think if anything, if they're going to go back and jump into a timeline here, first of all, I don't see them doing any of that. But I think it'd be Halloween 4, and I don't see a studio doing that because Daniel Harris and Ellie Cornell don't have the name recognition that Laurie Strode does, and the studio knows that we as fans will come see it no matter what, right? But that's not where the studios make their money. They make it on the general movie going audience, right? They're going to be they're not going to care. They're going to be like another Myers movie, and wait, what? Now he's continuing with this JB Lloyd person. Like they're not going to know. As much as I would love to see a sequel to Halloween 4, a real sequel to Halloween 4, not the this time Michael is ready, or this time is it? No, Michael lives in this time they're ready. Yeah, fuck that. But I would like to see a real sequel to it. I don't see it happening. But it'd be cool to see some fan film. Fan films seem to be all the rage these days, and some guys really have done a great job. Vincent DeSante with the Never Hike Alone series. There's been a lot of other Jason ones that I haven't seen. Jason Rising and some shit like that. McCrae killed it with his Black Christmas. McCrae and Bruce Dale They killed it with their Black Christmas fan film. Um, it's Me, Billy. Absolutely fucking killed it. I was blown away at what they did. But yeah, so fan films have come a long way. So if we did get, a 45-minute fan film sequel to Halloween 4, I would definitely be excited to see that. All right, another couple minutes, guys. Just going to read another couple chats here. Let's see what we got going on here. If you guys are watching after the fact, comment below. Tell me what you thought of the description for the teaser trailer that was described yesterday. Byron Weaver says, Nick Push, how big of a role do you think Lindsay will have in Halloween Ends? I've been debating. I don't know. I think I answered that, right? Yeah, like I said earlier, I've been debating on that, and I just think that I think she's going to play a role of being involved with Laurie and Allison, and kind of being not a mother to Allison, but a mother type figure to Allison. I don't. It's interesting. It's interesting. What it'll be interesting what they do with her. So I'm not really sure. Other than that, I hope she lives because I like the character. But if she's got a cool death scene, that'd be cool too. Got to remember, Lindsay in the OG was a fan of horror movies, so I would like to see if she still is after the events that she's went through. 40 years apart. If she still watches horror movies, maybe she could provide some Scream type. Meta shit. I hope they don't do that, but it'd be cool to see if she was a fan of horror movies. Drake Plays says, Nick, would you ever consider doing Halloween fan fictions? Like, for example, what if Myers went to the hospital and Halloween Kills? Here's the thing with that. So I like speculating some of this shit. Obviously, you guys have seen I've done a lot of videos on different speculation for Halloween Kills and stuff like that. I love speculating on that stuff. I really do. But as far as me doing fan fictions, I am not creative enough to do something like that. What's the saying? I know my strengths. More importantly, I know my weaknesses. And I know that there's a lot of people that are more creative and more talented than me that can do that. So, if you guys see some cool fan fictions like that, I would love to see them. Let me know, comment in one of my videos or whatever. I would love to see shit like that. But I'll leave it to people that are way more creative than me because it's just not my forte doing that. I'm an accountant by day, guys. So, I look at numbers on a spreadsheet all day. Creativity as far as, coming up with stories like that isn't exactly in my wheelhouse. So I'll leave it to people that are much more talented like that. All right, guys. With that, though, we are going to end this stream. Like I said earlier, I know there's a lot of Halloween channels out there. I really appreciate you guys stopping by mine. Plenty more vids to come in the future here. Hopefully we get a trailer very soon, or at least a teaser very soon. At least maybe we can see what we've talked about tonight. That would be great. Thanks as always, guys, and I will see you later.